So what does it actually mean when half a dozen psychopathic teenagers decide to beat up on one other teenager, video it and upload it to YouTube? Does it mean YouTube or the internet generally is at fault? Does it mean society's getting worse and worse things are happening? Well, no and no. Saying something as fatuous as, the internet's to blame, would really only hold up if, I don't know, something like this had never happened, ever, before in history. Not quite accurate, is it? And people who don't seem to be able to remember past sometime early last week like to say, oh, but it's getting worse. No, it isn't. This bullshit line gets trotted out over and over. If we listen to this shit, movies would be illegal, TV would be illegal, rock and roll would be illegal, comic books would be illegal, Dungeons and Dragons would be illegal. Scared, freaked, paranoid people just keep blaming whatever new thing comes along for the collapse of civilization. It's never been true before, it isn't true now. So what do the actions of these 6 teenagers prove? Well, basically, that psychopaths, and that's what they are, psychopaths, they proved that psychopaths do psychopathic things. Wow! Who knew? Psychopaths don't have any sense of empathy for other humans. They don't have any concept of remorse for wrongdoings. It's all about them. There is something wrong with their brains. The concept that someone who does not have some faulty wiring would go, hey, for amusement, let's beat, torture, rape, murder someone. You have to be fucked in the head to do that. And for the people who think this is a low point, I'm going to depress you by telling you some worse things. Just about YouTube to start with. This is not the worst thing that's been on YouTube. There was a case a year or so ago in Australia. Younger kids, primary school aged kids, a bunch of boys took a girl into a secluded location. Now this girl has been described as having a mild learning disability, which I think is a PC way of saying she was slightly mentally retarded. But whatever, her decision-making process was not particularly sound, and she was taken away by these boys. Now they sexually assaulted her, set her hair on fire, and pissed on her. And yes, they videoed it, and yes, for a while, that video was on YouTube. That is not the worst of it. They videoed this, and YouTube was just a secondary thing. They made DVDs of this attack. They made it like a movie, with credits, featuring their real names. And they sold copies of this DVD at their school. Yes, these little psychopaths were so far gone, they not only didn't see anything wrong with that behaviour, they believed they deserved to be rewarded for that behaviour. That's about as far off the track as you can go. And for anyone who wants to claim this is just the modern world and the collapse of morals, this shit has been going on forever. What's the oldest story? Cain and Abel. Pissed off at your brother? Hey, murder him! Just to impress God, apparently. But here's a neat little collection put together by one Evan Dorkin in one of his collection called Dork. And I'll just read a few of the fun things he's collected about child murderers. Famous words of child murderers. A 14-year-old boy explaining why he robbed a store at knife point. He said, I'm tired, bored, sick of school, bored with life. So I thought I'd stab people. Here's one of my favourites. Mary Bell, who was 11. A cute little 11-year-old girl. She murdered 2 small boys, aged 3 and 4, in 1960 in England. And she said, I'd like to be a nurse, because then I can stick needles in people. I like hurting people. And from an English lad who was 9 years old, who was questioned by the police for his actions in 1947, he said, I took the pram from outside the shop. There was a baby in the pram, and I just threw it in the water. I just wanted to do it. Here's a fun one from a 14-year-old in Arkansas in 1960. If I killed one, they'd just send me to reform school again. But if I killed them both, they'll send me to the chair. That was why he killed two of his playmates instead of one. And how about little 9-year-old Hattie? From an event that happened in 1896, she was heard to say, as she was hitting a 2-year-old with an axe because the 2-year-old had bitten her, "You ain't dead yet, is you? I'll make you dead." And in a touching bit of honesty, a 14-year-old boy who shot his father to death in 1957 said, "I hated to kill, but I had to. I'm insane." So, in short, fucked people do fucked things. They always have, and they always will. Going for easy scapegoats won't stop it. In fact, it's ignoring the obvious and is likely to make the problem worse. If that hasn't depressed you, I don't know what will, apart from maybe some more words from Mary Bell, the cute little 11-year-old multiple murderer who said, "Murder isn't that bad. We all die sometime."